Hong Kong.
I would like to find out what the mood is like in Hong Kong after, well, considering that one of the pro-democracy newspapers, Apple Daily, had to close their doors after 26 years of publication. What is the mood like in Hong Kong?
Well, it's been another dramatic few days in Hong Kong. It's almost 1 year since the controversial national security law came into force here. But despite that fact, there's still a great deal of concern over Hong Kong's long-term prosperity and future, and indeed its economic and international reputation. And the downfall, if you like, of the Apple Daily newspaper is a perfect symbol of that. This is a newspaper that has been really the cornerstone of the pro-democracy movement in terms of the media industry for such a long time, through all of the political and social unrest in recent months and the last couple of years, really. And in a very short space of time, we've seen its founder become arrested and then charged and then jailed. And then in the last few days, we've seen its chief executive and editor also face charges under the national security law. The authorities say that they've been conspiring with foreign forces to promote the idea of sanctions against Hong Kong and Chinese government officials because of the implementation of this law. And within a matter of a week, the entire newspaper has said that it can no longer operate because it's under too much financial pressure, since the authorities have frozen much of its assets as part of this investigation. And they also have serious concern over the safety of their staff because of these high-profile arrests of the newspaper's executives. And to see this newspaper crumble so quickly has been a real shock for many Hong Kongers who have seen the political system here change very rapidly, but have not necessarily been expecting such radical changes in the media and business landscape in such a short space of time.
How significant was Apple Daily on the discourse of Hong Kong's independence? And I have to ask, what happens then to Hong Kong's media freedom?
Well, it was really the most outspoken of all the media representations of the pro-democracy movement. It's one of the biggest newspapers, one of the oldest newspapers to back this pro-democracy idea here in the city. So to see it fall is a real blow to other much smaller independent news organizations that are effectively promoting the same idea. It's also promoted serious concerns over the future of press freedom. Just earlier I was speaking to the former chairman of the Hong Kong Journalists Association, who says really for many journalists here, they're entering a period where self-censorship is going to become a major concern, because they're now going to start worrying about what they write, how they write, whether they should publish opinion pieces, for example, whether they should publish editorials anymore, if those opinion pieces and editorials are challenging or undermining government authority in the city. This is all escalating into a wider geopolitical issue again because of criticism from the United States towards these arrests, and from the United Kingdom, from the European Union, again putting Hong Kong really stuck in between China and the West when it comes to its future as an economic and international business and finance hub. And this is all escalating this concern over what Hong Kong's long-term future might be if there are significant developments like this that are seeming to undermine public freedoms.
All right, so has there been a reaction from mainland China about accusations of human rights mistreatment to people in Hong Kong? Or even further on, well, alleged suppression of media freedom in Hong Kong?
Well, both the Hong Kong and Beijing governments are increasingly on the same page these days when it comes to their responses to international criticism. They're both saying that this is merely an attempt by the US, by the UK, by the EU and so on to just interfere with Chinese affairs. They don't properly understand the Hong Kong-China relationship, and they don't fully appreciate, they say, that this national security law is stabilizing Hong Kong and bringing a future economic prosperity to Hong Kong. And therefore, any action taken under this law is simply an effort to try and strengthen Hong Kong's reputation and stabilize the economy after it was rocked by so many months of anti-government protest a couple of years ago. Beijing said just today in its foreign ministry briefing that, in its opinion, no level of press or public freedom should surpass the need for national security, and that should be enough of a justification for any action, and that any suggestion that it's specifically trying to undermine press freedoms is nonsense. It's simply trying to protect national security, and that's been the consistent line from the Hong Kong and Beijing governments, and it's dismissing any suggestion that this is part of some targeted campaign to basically restructure the media environment in Hong Kong and stifle any form of political dissent.
All right, thank you for your time, Richard. Have a good day.